Internet aside, good day for you so far, Donnie?
Yeah, great day. A lot of good shit going on.
Right. World is not a happy place most days, but your music is one of the things that makes it a happy day for me. Long time fan. And what I like about your music is that it's usually really bright and poppy, but there's darkness beneath it. It's very complex. Do you ever have to hold yourself back from writing just a purely happy song?
It's either what's going on or what mood or what's inspiring me at the time or what's appropriate and what's fitting of a new song idea that comes to me and just go up into the of all of the different experiences and different vibes and shit that I'm familiar with, and then fill in the blanks with the lyrics and stuff. The melodies are pretty much, they're melodic or pleasant, but it's the lyrics, but sometimes there's something that's very moody musically. Usually if it's moody musically or something, it'll lend itself to a more, darker, vibe or whatever the hell, but whatever comes along. And like these songs kind of, the way they present themselves to me, I hear it already, and I have to kind of fill in the blanks and put it together so you can hear it, and sing it, of course.
Sure. A couple of months back, maybe it's now even 6 months back, you put out a great Little Richard tribute with Lucille. Was that entirely in response to the passing of Little Richard, or is that a song you'd wanted to cover?
No, I have a project that I'm doing with a good book. Mine started out as something to teach him some things and have him learn, get back involved in music again and teach him the recording and stuff. And it turned out to be something that was starting to be pretty cool. The recordings and using old classic songs, and pumping up the voltage on them and putting my spin on them and stuff. And so I was thinking, what can I do with this? Because I can't really, my thing is and occasionally like a cover or something. But so we contacted a thing called the Brotherhood of the Fallen, which is the surviving families of slain officers and firemen and stuff that in the thing, and decided to do this like a charity thing. Like it's called Fallen Blue is the name of it. And like Little Richard just happened to be one that the day Little Richard died, I got to work on Lucille. It's a great old song. And the version that I put out was a little premature, but we were rushing to get it out by the next day or something. And so we'll revisit it, in the near future. Is we're going to probably make a record of about 7 or 8, maybe 9 tracks already. And the one we're working on now is that song, "The Letter" by the Box Tops.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like a cooler version, like a little grindier version. But we got some. We just released "Stand By Me" not too long ago, and then when I'll do a majority of the tracking, and then my buddy Rob, he'll make the little videos for it and stuff, and we're both stepping up. And what I'm going to try to do is I get to not focus on writing it or anything like that. I get to focus on taking it as if, and working maybe mainly focus calisthenics of it. You know what I mean? Like see what I can actually do vocally, and you know what I mean? And, hoping that a lot of them I don't have to actually sing live, because I do a lot of things when I'm recording that aren't realistic for me to performing live all the time. Done that with Enough's Enough and stuff like that. But I'll put whatever I can do that's fitting of the song, that sounds like what the song needs. And I worry about live, later.
And speaking of singing,
yeah, I got a bit off the answer to your question, but
I totally welcome it. It's great to hear that you're working on a variety of things beyond the singles that you've been working on. But I want to throw you a compliment and ask, how has your voice held up so well over the years? Obviously, you had a hard life, and I see you smoking a cigarette, but you're still singing great.
Maybe it's the secret. I don't know. I've never quit. I've been smoking for 40 years and over 40 years, and I never quit. There's times when it's rougher. If like when the days when I'd be hungover or really tore up and stuff like that. But it's pretty 99.9% of the time it's there whenever I go to need it. And, it's just a matter sometimes of opening up and singing through something a couple of times, or in the shower before a performance or something. I'll always go through "Oh Darling," and that opens me up all the range and stuff like that. And then it's usually there for me when, as long as you hydrate, your throat's like a little sprinkler in the back end. I'm pushing my luck with these. I really am. And at 56, so I think about, most days at least that, man, it's this cancer and throat cancer and all these guys, they die of this stuff. And I've beat the odds so long that I shouldn't be pushing it. But I believe everything is happens as it should happen. And until my purpose has been served, that I'll be able to do what I do, because, I figure I'm some a tool or a utility that for the powers that be to translate and transmit, what the message is and stuff. And like, we don't have the biggest following, or I don't have the biggest following, but the ones that I do are mighty, and they let me know, like, every day, every chance, like what it's gotten them through. My buddy Adam, just recently, his wife just died, and he was a long time fan, and he came out to our new video shoot and just couldn't express enough of how I got him through that and stuff with the songs. And people have told me that literally was the difference between life and death. They're ready to end it and stuff, and it's something connected. And purpose here. And once you stop looking at it for personal self gain and stuff, and start looking at how can you put a price tag on someone's life or getting them through the loss of a dear one and shit like that, compared to money. And I've had money and I was depressed. I have issues, anxiety, bipolar, things like that, functional autism, different things like that. And, it's how can you put a price tag on that? And I don't need really anything but more than what I've got, which is a wonderful, wonderful pad and a beautiful studio and everything that I need. When I had money, I didn't use it on, I'd just buy people stuff and spend it on, I didn't use it on myself, of drugs. Spent a lot of money on drugs.
Yeah.
But the throat's there. Fortunately for me, yeah. Fortunately, very fortunately for me, and at this age, especially, I can do as good or better than I've ever have, knock wood there.
Knock wood there. You said something very interesting along the lines, or within that answer rather, where you're saying we may not have the biggest fan base, but the people who love it. And there's so many famous fans of Donnie Vie. Just naming a few, I know Paul Gilbert from Mr. Big is a huge fan, and he's played on some of your records over the years. Billy Corgan has sprung up. Members of Cheap Trick have sprung up. Howard Stern was famously Enough's Enough was his favorite band before he forgot everything that he did before 2006. It's always been intriguing to me. Oh, go ahead.
Kiss, Aerosmith, McCartney, Lennon's Kids, we've always been the band's band, people that really recognize what's going on here. And most of the big, huge, besides the heavy metal ones, all really got their start and education from the Beatles and stuff. And not a lot of people pull off that melodic sense of pop and so two together with that and pull that off. There's only been a handful in the history of that we've heard of, you know. And that was my dream and my goal when I started really getting into writing and stuff, was to one day, the impact that music had on me, that my really troubled childhood and stuff. And I zoned in on this, and that's what with blinders on, there was never anything else. I shadow of a doubt, this is what I'm going to do, and this is what I should be doing. And that my goal and dream wasn't rich and famous. It was to be able to have that effect, write something that had on people, and would, that you could put, you know, sort of, not to toot my own horn, but just ride in that zone with the greats and stuff that I consider, you know, really great contributors to musical history. And from what I understand, from what I've been told, I've done that. They've called me now the king of power pop, and you know, it's pretty cool. And you know, but that was my dream. My dream came true a long time ago, once I realized that, you know.
Right. So I believe you're putting out a
I'd
series.
like to start writing for these big artists, though.
Right.
What's that? Yeah, I'd like to start writing for these big artists. I don't really have necessarily all the contact information, but I know that most of them, even the big artists, when they get through a few albums and they're now in their later years, like say McCartney, for example, my albums are blowing his new ones away, you know, which I hate to say. But, you know, I mean, big writers and stuff that lose their, and the passion after a while, when you're comfortable and everything, and it becomes like a job, you know. And I'd love to write and work with some bigger artists, and maybe that could happen. A good manager, and my social media team is building and doing really well, and we got a lot of really great things happening in the future. And new label. I bought out all my shit from these shitty labels, you know what I mean? Including the Beautiful Things record, and then this new single I'm about. Am I freezing up?
A little bit, but I hear what you're saying. You just said that.
Yeah,
you bought up the records, and in Beautiful Things and the new record, and yeah, keep going.
It was like giving over a third of your record away for absolutely nothing. You know what I mean? And finally, I'm like, you know, that's why I didn't even, after the Beautiful Things contract was up, and the only reason I took that deal was to honor the pledge, because Pledge Music is the way I went, and they just took all the money and ran, and I was left holding the bag, not only for the budget and the expenses of making the record, because these people are there for their money. They don't care what the reason. And but all the pledgees or whatever, that I wanted to honor them. And so I'll take this shitty little deal so that I could get their product for cost, you know, and get that. And we physically got the mailing list, and physically postage and packaged them, and actually mailed these out, you know, to every cornfield in the United States. And it was but you know, the last record, I decided after Beautiful Things, we were just getting ready to gear up to support it live and tour, or not really tour, but play shows and stuff. And then the pandemic hit. And so I certainly am not giving up on the best thing I've ever done. So I decided for the time being, I would go with release singles. And we had a single. Now it's a 45 vinyl that we were getting ready to release, and I pushed it back a couple of times. All my favorite things, and this new one called Party Time, which we just shot an amazing video for, and it'll be done like in a month or so with post-production. And when you see it, it's like big time Hollywood shit. But I had no contract with them on that, and I just pulled it. And that really freaked them out, and they had to pull it down off Amazon, and once it ready to ship to stores and all that stuff. And I'm like, no, I can't do this with you guys anymore. And enough's enough. We just ship, and I just signed a licensing deal for all of you. Enough catalog under one label, Cleopatra Records. It's got money, and they're you know, a bigger independent, and so they're hopefully 99% sure of catalog. along with beautiful things. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this new single yet, because it's got some potential. There's some hope for it. It's my Ain't Nothing But a Good Time. You know, this thing I've been trying to write my whole career. You know, something simple and it hits you in the face, and it's like bridges all the style gaps and genre gaps, but also retains the integrity of the style of writing that I do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you give me your email address and I'll send you the current mix of it, so you can give me your take on it. Now it's being remixed right now, and the video is just going to be amazing. I got real luck together to contribute, and you know, believes in me and stuff, and it's going to be like $100,000 video.
Wow. So everything that I'm hearing just sounds like this is Donnie Vie finally peaking in life in his late 50s, that everything is healthy, he loves his work, he's got a positive disposition. Who would have thought that you'd be such in great shape now? I wasn't banking on that, and I was a fan of the work for all the years.
Certainly not me. It's been a dark, long road. What's that?
Oh,
I didn't hear your question.
well, what I'm getting at is, love the work. I never really knew the guy behind the work, and then you'd hear rumors, and then the guy, he wasn't commenting much. But now, speaking directly to you and seeing the social media, there's a great team behind you beyond the positive disposition. So when did the positive part of the journey start for you?
Basically, when God or the powers that be decided that was going to be the case, I had to do the work. I had to finally bottom out so badly that I, you know, got it together. I mean, I tried to kill myself a couple of times, and just the last one was right up at the time I ended up coming back from European Soul Acoustic Tour. I had no spirit. There was nothing in me. And luckily and fortunately for me, I was praying, please just change me. And I got off the plane, and customs was waiting for an old warrant I had in Michigan. And I ended up getting kidnapped by those hillbillies and held without ransom. You know, 6 months in jail, and then this lengthy thing called adult treatment court, where break your life down to the ground again, and then rebuilds you up with all the therapy and stuff that I'd never gotten. The sobriety, all of that cleaned up in a lengthy period of time, where, you know, you got a chance to adjust to that, and I took to that like a fish out of water. It just changed everything. My whole life has been very dark. You know, I haven't been capable of doing business or having good relationships, and when you're in that state, you know, you drive everything away from you, your family, your band, your good and stuff, and you just hang with the seedy turds and always chasing that high and that drug and stuff. And so I cleaned up. I came out of that box. You know, I hadn't written or sang anything for over 2 years. Nothing, no song ideas, which was rare. Never would happen to me that I have no song ideas. Nothing came until I finished that thing, and I was, you know, getting ready to leave the program and sitting there in my little house up there, you know, questioning, are we going to do this again? Is this happen again? Is this going to turn back on? Because now I'm all dressed up, nowhere to go. And that very night, I Could Save the World came to me. And then the next day, Breaking Me Down. The day after that, Fly. The song rushing it, and I knew that happened again, and I knew that this is for some reason I'm still alive. You know, all these people that have been worried about me, a lot of them are gone now, you know, and here I am, that I would still be here, you know, and it's just I got a peace of mind. I'm happy. I met somebody and got into a really great situation where I'm a big part of them now. They love me, I love them, and happiness and peace of mind and contentment. And besides just doing what I do, I spend more time and almost prefer doing, like today, I'm building one of those aluminum sheds outside to clear all the shit out of the garage and have room for my workshop, and installing some French doors upstairs for the girls' little dorm or little classroom now, because they can't go to school. She just got into college in DePaul. She can't go to school. And so her school classroom is in the old living room. So I'm installing the doors and deck, turning that into her little office and area, you know, and I did this whole basement room it's like the coolest fucking room in the world, you know what I mean? And my studio and everything. And I kind of am a little bit lax at getting my job done. Fortunately, when I got out of the hospital, I got a big wave of songs came, and I sat down and got about 15 demos done that are, I consider, better now. The next, after Beautiful Things, which I consider, I've always had a policy that I need to grow and evolve, and my next thing needs to be as good or better than my last thing, or I'll stop releasing things. And still to this day, I've got a good stockpile, but I've got like 3 or 4 that really need to be tractors, because they're just, as far as I'm concerned, amazing. And I don't get to it, you know. I'm building a shed today.
He builds sheds, he builds songs. Donnie, I'm really looking forward to hearing all that music. I'll drop you an email. Thank you so much for your time. It was really great to hear how you're doing great, and you're going to keep doing great.
Thank you for thinking of me. An interview, anytime you want to talk or something like that, you can reach out. You got the contact information now. You can email me direct, and I'd be happy to, you know, give you, if you just need 5 minutes of shit talk or something, criticize things I don't know about.
Sounds great.
Anything you need, just let me know. And thank you very much. And thank you to all the fans.
Thank you so much. Have a great rest of the day in the meantime.
Paltrocast.